Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the hidden superpower that all fluent English speakers have. I've been excited about making this video for quite a while, but I've waited because it's a little bit more advanced. It is a challenging idea, but I will do my best to explain it and keep it very simple for you. I don't want to keep you in suspense, so I will tell you this superpower right now, and then we will explain what it means. So again, don't be nervous if you think maybe you don't quite understand it, because I will go into exactly what it is and how to develop it. So this superpower, and it's really a quite simple thing actually, is the ability to understand things by their meaning and to adapt your understanding of words as you learn more. Now, I know this is kind of a weird idea, and maybe I haven't even explained it very well. It's kind of a new thing that I'm trying to help people learn, but it's really very important. It's one of those things that native speakers don't even realize that they're doing, so it's quite difficult to teach, and I've never heard anyone teach it before. Anyway, let's explain what it means. So if you're thinking about maybe learning a verb, and I've covered this, or I covered this quite recently when I was making a video talking about the different uses of get. And this is the most powerful verb that you can learn in the English language because it's so common and so useful. But in that video, what I talked about is, number one, the most important thing you should be doing for building a huge vocabulary quickly is, instead of trying to learn an English word through your language, you need to be understanding everything through English. So when you're watching people, maybe people are like, there are lots of English teachers actually from all over the world that are teaching, but they're using their native language to help you learn. Now, I think there is value in this because there maybe are a few things that are maybe specific to a person's language, or maybe some difficult pronunciation things that are required by having someone do that. But you must also be learning with the native speaker and someone that understands things in a way like I do, that can pronounce them perfectly, as well as present them in a visual way, because you want to be focusing as much as possible on learning things the same way native speakers do. So you don't want to put any steps between the language you speak, so your native language, and the language you're trying to learn. You don't want to learn things and get explanations and definitions and do all these other things where you translate in order to understand something, because that's why you would translate when you speak. So if you have a problem with maybe translating in your head before you speak, so you're in a conversation, someone says something to you and you want to respond, but wait a minute, you have to think, okay, is this grammar rule? How do I translate this? And then you start speaking after that. So if you don't want to do that, if you have a problem with that, it's because you're learning things through your native language. So the most important thing you should be doing, really for anything, any aspect of developing fluency, whether it's vocabulary building or listening or pronunciation practice, you want to get that connection to the language directly. So this is just the foundation of this idea. But let's say I see somebody buying something and then I hear the word get. Okay, so now I've made an association in my mind, a connection between the word get and the situation of someone buying something. So I make that connection. Okay, to get means to buy something. But maybe like the next day I hear somebody else like they find something on the street and they pick it up, and maybe they'd like, oh, I got $20 off the street. And I say, wait a minute, like yesterday I heard get and it means to buy something, doesn't it? But wait a minute, I guess it also means something else. And this is the part where like your mind opens up a little bit more. And you've probably noticed this if you've learned anything like a word like get, like we covered in that video, and I gave you a whole bunch of different uses of that word. So again, do go back and watch that video, the most powerful verb in the English language, if you've not seen it already. But this idea of taking something and then expanding your understanding of it through the language itself. So you're not trying to get a whole bunch of translations of something. What you're doing is making a connection with the language. Okay, so I see somebody buy something, so I'm looking at a situation, and then I connect that with a word. So to buy something, to purchase something, I'm giving someone money and I get something. So I'm buying something from a person. Now, if I think about that, and that's the only meaning that I understand, like I will continue to go through life thinking that buy means get. So it's the same thing. But as soon as I hear something else, now my mind has to change. My mind has to open up a bit more to start receiving other definitions of what something like that means. So, okay, get does not just mean buy something. It could also mean to find something on the ground. And then I start thinking, okay, if get means like buy something and find something, what else might that mean? Now, this is really important because this idea, this is the superpower that people have, that native speakers have, that people who speak fluently have. It's the ability to understand things in the native language by studying it directly. Again, you're focusing on the meaning of something, not translations. So if you can develop this superpower, then it's really going to help you build your confidence, because you'll be able to adapt to new language or new meanings of words when you hear them, and then it expands your meaning or your understanding of the meaning of that word. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, because this is such an important idea. Do click that like button if you are understanding what I am saying right now, or if I need to go back and make a new version of this video to make it even easier. But really, it is a very advanced idea, and most people don't even realize they're doing it when they are doing it. So I'm trying to make it very clear here so you understand that. There's more than one meaning typically for a word, and then as you learn that, you expand your understanding of that idea or that word. To really push this deep into your brain, let's look at the word take. Now, in the same way, let's say I'm a young child and I see my father maybe take a piece of bread off of the table, and he says, I'm taking a piece of bread. So I say, oh, okay, like take, I get it. Like I understand what he's saying, to remove something from one thing and put it in something else. But maybe I go to school later that day and my friends are talking about taking a test. I say, wait a minute, like I thought take just meant physically moving something from one place to another. I don't understand quite how that works. All of these will have larger meanings, and then kind of under that umbrella, so I call this an umbrella, where we have kind of smaller, more specific examples of something. So under the umbrella of get, you have maybe to buy something or to receive something, but really you're transferring something, you're taking possession of that thing. Finally, we'll look at the verb to say something, to say. Like I'm sitting down and my parents are talking, I'm like a couple of years old, and my dad says, oh, like my mom said, how are you today? So my mom said, how are you today? So I think, okay, say means to have words coming out of your mouth. So that's my understanding of that word. But maybe I hear later my dad and I are looking at a picture book, and there's a picture of a cow, and he says, oh, the cow says moo. The cow says moo. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, like a cow isn't actually speaking. Like a cow doesn't have words that it's maybe trying to communicate. Well, maybe it does. I mean, we don't really understand it. But in that case, like, okay, my understanding of say is not just words, but it's expanded to having like some kind of sound coming out of like a mouth or something like that. So I'm expanding my understanding, and this is how I develop the superpower of doing this. So when I'm working with Aria, my daughter, when I'm trying to explain things to her, I have to make it very clear what I'm talking about, so I can help her understand her or expand her understanding of particular things. Because you can notice, like if you're maybe specifically you're doing something, or if I'm teaching a class, I will look at students, and if I say something, I can tell if they understood it or if they didn't. And usually it's because they haven't expanded their understanding of something. So the more you can develop this ability to expand your understanding of phrases or verbs or vocabulary in general, the faster it will be that you get fluent, because the more it will lead you to want to think like, what else could I use this for? Or what other meanings, like especially the literal versus figurative meanings of something. And so I cover a lot about this in our visual guide to phrasal verbs, the difference between a physical thing and a literal, or I guess a figurative thing. So one example I give in that program is to go under. Now, to go under, if you think about physically moving under something else, this is a literal understanding of the phrasal verb to go under. But the kind of more figurative understanding of that is like a company going under when it goes bankrupt. So to go bankrupt means to lose all of your money. And in that way, we're taking an idea, we're expanding our idea, we're expanding our understanding of what to go under means. And so you can find this everywhere. And the more you can do this, the more you don't like lock yourself into a particular understanding of a word, the more you can keep open and always be learning kind of new things. Like one trick I'll give you right now, like if you take even a basic verb like get, just search the verb get on Google, and you can look at a huge list of all these things, read through them. You'll see like, 5-10 different meanings of the word get, but they all have an umbrella. And if you find that umbrella, then that's what's going to give you a great understanding. So again, that's exactly what I do in the Most Powerful powerful verb in the English language video. That's a few videos before that one, so do go back and watch that video after you've seen this one. Even if you have seen that video already, you will look at it in a new way if you go back and watch it now. Anyway, I don't want to give you too much information, but this superpower, this is such an important thing, and hopefully I have explained it quite well. If I have, do click that like button, and then again, go out and try to do a little bit of research on your own. Just pick a verb like take or grow or give or anything, just a simple verb for an example, and notice all the different meanings that you might not have heard before. But again, if you can do this, you will expand your understanding and become more fluent and more native-like, really. Anyway, it's a great superpower that anyone can develop, and you can start doing that right now. If you have enjoyed this video, do click that like button, become a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and if you have problems, you want to be able to think more like a native speaker, this idea of understanding how to expand your way of thinking, how to expand your understanding of vocabulary is one of the habits of a fluent English speaker. And if you want to develop all of these, you can click on our button right here in this video or on the link in the description below this video to take our free English fluency quiz. And it will help you understand exactly what you're struggling with and give you specific advice you need to help develop that habit. So all of these things are required. Becoming a fluent speaker does not mean learning more words. It just means developing the habits that native speakers have, and we can help you do that. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.